everyone, it's Corey with Sims Investment Management, and this is another monthly market update. And I hope everybody's having a great start to their 2021. I know there's been a lot of memes and funny jokes out there talking about if 2021 is really off to a better start than 2020 was. But I know there's a lot of fear still out there, but I really do have faith that we're going to have a good year this year. And the vaccine news is all encouraging. A lot of the political turmoil is now over. And now all anybody wants to talk about is Gamestop. So I'm going to start us off with a quote this month. It's from President Harry Truman, who said, "The only thing new in the world is the history you do not know." And I think this can apply to several of the things that happen in the market and what we experience in the news cycle in January. The first kind of being with the election and with the transition into the new presidency. And I would just encourage people to maybe go back and look at history a little bit to see how much political turmoil there has actually been over the years. Even going back to when this country was founded, we look very favorably on George Washington, but there were plenty of people that did not like George Washington and many of our founding fathers. Mark Twain wrote often about how he was dissatisfied with the democracy that we were forming. The late 1800s, starting with the kind of American Industrial Revolution, there were a lot of people upset with the way of the democracy and how certain parts of the economy were being left behind. So I just think that quote from Harry Truman about the only thing new in the world is a history you do not know is so accurate, because we see the same cycles. You can even go back 2,000 years ago and read some of the Stoics, and many of the things that they were complaining about are similar to problems that we have today. They just look a little bit different. I'm going to include in this email the Life magazine articles that I've sent out before, just to remind people, if you look at the past 70 years of the cover of Life magazine and how often they've had the doom and gloom on their magazine, and this is it for America, and this is it for the world, and how wrong they've been over the years. So just put that in perspective a little bit. The next side of that, GameStop, right? So the only thing new in the world is the history you do not know. This GameStop mania, and I'm going to have a separate video that talks about short selling that you can see on our website. But GameStop and what has happened with some of the individual names and the market volatility, this has happened before. There was a big case of this, I think it was in 2008 with Volkswagen, when it completely took off and shorts got squeezed out and some options took effect, and then it crashed. It reminds me a little bit about 2000 and the dot-com bubble. You can even go back to the 1630s. A lot of people don't know this, but one of the most earliest recorded crashes actually had to do with tulip bulbs in the Netherlands in the 1630s, where people were paying 10 times an average income for a tulip bulb because they were worried they were going to go out. They weren't going to be able to get supply. There was speculation, and as you can imagine, that market got driven up and then crashed, and many people made fortunes, but many people lost fortunes on the way down trading a tulip bulb. So there's really nothing new under the sun. What hesitates me a little bit is the fact how many clients I keep having call me and ask me, or send me emails and ask me about wanting to take some money and play with it. And a reminder, what we do here, we're not playing with anybody's money. We're trying to help you secure your financial future. And sometimes people will say, well, it's only $500 or $1,000. And I'd say, well, that $500 to $1,000 properly invested grows to potentially tens of thousands of dollars. So the opportunity cost, if you get this wrong, is pretty significant. Again, it's not something that I want to gamble with for my future and my family's financial future. I would encourage you not to do the same. Don't get caught up with the hype in the media. There's a reason why the story of the tortoise and the hare has been told for over 2,500 years. it just comes around again. It's going to repeat itself. I don't know how this volatility in these individual names is going to end, but I would hypothesize that it's not going to end well for many of the people that are trying to make a quick buck. And I would ask you to ask yourself, for some of these people that are taking financial advice from maybe Barstool Sports or Reddit, if these people are so smart and they can make so much money in the stock market doing this, why aren't they doing it professionally? Because I can guarantee you there is a heck of a lot of money out there if somebody's this good to be able to trade options and influence the market, that they could be doing this and make a heck of a lot more money than posting on it on Reddit. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. We'll talk a little bit more about short selling in another video. We're off to a slower start in the market. Volatility in theory, other than some individual names, S&P 500's pretty muted. So we'll be back in another month. If you have any questions in the meantime, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I hope you found this informational about a little bit of history on the market. Thank you.